The mermaid is an archetypal image that represents a woman who is at ease in the great waters of life, the waters of emotion and sexuality. She shows us how to embrace our instinctive sexuality and sensuality so that we can affirm the essence of our feminine nature and wisdom of our bodies, and the playfulness of our spirits. She symbolises our connection with our deepest instinctive feelings, our wild and untamed animal nature that exists below the surface of outward personalities. Interior 1940s bar, nighttime. A gang of women enter a bar, tilted cartwheel hats concealing their eyes but onlookers seeing their lipstick-covered smirks, cascading skirts that are deceptive illusions concealing their true forms, and voluptuous curls doused with the remnants of seawater dripping on the hardwood floors. They slide into some seats in the far back as a bartender is already ready and waiting with 5 drinks, each woman gripping the glasses as if they are about to squeeze them to death. Enchanting clamshell pendants resting over their hearts, reflecting in the pond of their martinis as they observe the other inhabitants laughing and drinking. That was a small scene idea that we randomly came up with many days ago when we were trying to formulate the next video for this fashion fusion series we are doing. When planning, we tried to bring completely different styles together and explore how that could be portrayed together, but we also often end up finding similarities. Thus, it fell into place when we began to explore connections between film noir and the sea plus its creatures. One early literary account of the mermaid legend occurs in a medieval romance which tells the story of Melusine, a dual figure representing the union of the natural and supernatural worlds. Paracelsus, who was a 16th century physician and alchemist, tells us the birthplace of Melusine as the womb of mysteries. Steeped in the underbelly of society were moods of pessimism, bleakness and ambiguity, continually all evident in film noir movies, seducing viewers into a nightmarish fatalistic world. But more importantly, the chiaroscuro lighting technique used shrouded the figures in darkness, creating an overarching atmosphere of this aforementioned mystery. The iconography of empty streets frequently shining with rain seen in film noir is also apparent. There seems to be always an attachment to water. In particular, the similarities between the femme fatale of the screens and the femme fatale of the seas, whilst contrasting in clothing style, are alike in character, and as shown, also sharing symbolism and mystery in the stories they appear in. As a result, this was our leading inspiration as to why we thought the concoction between the two would bring forth a compelling fashion imagery of sophistication bathed in myth. Though this assortment of runway looks may not be 100% historically accurate to the period of 1940s to 1950s, which was the defining period of classic film noir, but a lot of it can still help with inspiration in terms of looking at fabrics and the silhouette of an outfit. merging the style of mermaid-like clothing and the fashion of the classic femme fatale archetype. In regards to the colour palette, we would play with all of the sombre yet vivid hues seen in film noir and the ocean. White, ivory, pale shell pink, faded sea foam green, deep emeralds, gloomy blues, silver, tarnished golds, teal, various shades of black and grey. In this chapter, we have created more specific ideas to further assist in conceptualizing an outfit. A prevailing feature we would draw upon is any sort of structured uniform pieces being on the top half, whilst the bottom half would descend down into pieces that are more free-flowing in fabric, creating the illusion of a mermaid tail. For example, the top half could consist of clothing items with shoulder pads, box-shaped blazers, trench coats, fitted corsets, waistcoats, shirt blouses with large collars and angular wide-brimmed hats, whilst the bottom half can embrace items with peplum hems on pencil skirts, flared pants, layered ruching, fishnet stockings, intricately knotted skirts, iridescent or shimmering fabrics, scale-like patterns that light would dance on beautifully. Additionally, adding the thalassic elements through the accessories like conch shell purses and pendants. Lastly, though these mood boards are more on the fancier side, all of the looks can easily be toned down for casual attire as well. Film noir conveys all of the darker things of life, the characters being the pillars to these feelings. Instead of a hero, you will have a cynical anti-hero or an alluring and cunning energy of the femme fatale. The protagonists often sharing certain qualities, one being alienation from society, the mermaid having a very similar experience throughout folklore. This undercurrent of melancholy, whilst more upfront in film noir, perhaps is more subtle in mermaid tales. Looking at the moods seen in cinema can help weave together an outfit, as often we associate certain colours, patterns and fabrics with emotions. Here we have put together some films to further reinforce the style of both mermaids and film noir. Jewellery is one of the oldest decorations, playing a vital role in the elevation of an outfit. Not only have we listed here some necklaces from our own shop Double Take Artistry, but we have also assembled jewellery from other small businesses to help inspire you too, with the obvious key focus being pearls, freshwater pearls and seashells. The formation of any sort of style or design aesthetic doesn't just rely on looking at clothing, but also our surroundings, like architecture, paintings, and stories. This very example being put in practice with this fashion fusion. We were inspired by a tone of film and a mythological figure. On paper, the two things are not related to fashion, but within each have primary styles. Obviously, there is old Hollywood attractions like bars and famous buildings, but in particular, we think finding inspiration in expressionism design more interesting. It is made up of exaggerated angles and intense colour, leaning towards the Gothic rather than classical, embracing abstraction and expressing emotion through distorted forms, all traits that influenced film noir inherited from German expressionism. The expressionist architecture also has themes of natural phenomena such as caves, mountains, lightning, and crystal, organic forms that are meant to convey a sense of movement and vitality, much like water of the mermaid's home. The symbolism of mermaids being both dark and light, like the foreboding and serene seas they dwell in. All the marine motifs associated with them we think duets well with the concepts of film noir and expressionist architecture. These attributes from buildings can all be expertly applied in a mermaid noir outfit. Unbalanced items like a slanted hat or an uneven shirt collar, intense murky colours of the ocean, elemental accessories like crystallized looking jewellery, or even a low open back dress to imitate the cave-like arches of an expressionist building. Lastly, the feeling of coming straight from a lagoon with subtle wet hair resembling the alla prima painting technique seen in artworks. A mermaid shipwrecked in all of their fineries but is about to enter a razor-sharp plot of noir. The perfect partner in crime for an outfit is a fragrance. The intimacy between the two is essential in the overall self-expression of a personal style. Here we have gathered a small handful of perfumes that you are about to see, all befitting accompaniments to this mermaid noir fashion fusion.